Welcome to the Lady Landlords podcast, where we empower women to gain financial independence through real estate investing. I'm your host, Becky Nova, founder of Lady Landlords. If you're ready to buy, manage, and grow your real estate portfolio, then let's get started. Are you looking to get started in real estate investing, but not quite sure exactly what to do? Well, if so, this episode is for you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Lady Landlords podcast. I am your host, the founder of Lady Landlords, Becky Nova, and today we're going to be talking about the steps that you need to be able to take to get started to become a real estate investor. Now, a lot of people become real estate investors because they simply accidentally become one. This happened to me. My goal actually was not to even start out in real estate investing. My goal was literally just to be able to buy a property for my husband and I to live in and to have as our home and not end up being broke every single month. I really wanted to find a way where we would be able to bring in some extra income on a monthly basis. And buying a multifamily was just really a great strategy as a way to get us started. But I am very, very fortunate that we did not make a ton of mistakes in there because it wasn't really what we were prepped for, because it wasn't really what we were looking to do as real estate investors. But as soon as we closed on that first duplex and I got that check from those tenants there and got paid on day one of owning rental property for our tenants there, I knew that the monthly cash flow from rental properties was something that I really, really liked and that I needed to do again and again and again. I said right there at the closing table on that first duplex that I was definitely going to buy more rental property. And I had everybody in the room be like laughing, saying like, nope, there's no way you can do it. That's just not going to happen. But I found a way to make sure that it did. And if you're just getting started, this might be the place that you're in. Now, once we got through that first closing, and that was back in May of 2018, once we got through that closing, what I decided to start doing there is what I'm going to recommend to you as your step number one. Step number one is to get educated. That's to really go out there and to start to gather some information so we're not just shooting in the dark here and hoping things are going to work out. What you really want to do in this place of education is to start listening to podcasts like this, the Lady Landlords option. To hopefully if you're listening to our podcast, you're also already in our Facebook group. But we really want to just start to learn some of these different strategies, get an idea of what other people are doing, because that's going to help us as we move forward. But just like anything else in life that you want to do and be successful at, we need to kind of learn and educate ourselves on what exactly we can even be doing there. That education is going to make sure that we're going in the right direction, that we have an idea of what we're really getting ourselves into. Because there's nothing worse. Think about it. How many of you have gone to college? Maybe you're still paying those student loans off, yet you're not even using that degree, or you know that you got a bachelor's degree in something that was totally not right for you, right? Well, let's make sure this time we're going to do our homework beforehand. We want to make sure that we are very understanding of what exactly we want to get out of real estate investing. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see real estate investors making. Is great. They want to make money. Cool. Well, what does that mean? Do you want to make money on a monthly basis in the sense of cash flow? Do you want to make sense? Do you want to make money in the sense that you are looking for an appreciation play, that you want to save money in your taxes? Do you just need a quick infusion of cash and maybe a flip is right for you? All of those things really need to be discussed and thought about from the very beginning. So really during your education phase, you want to be learning about what is involved in these different strategies, right? Is a flip right for you? Are rental properties right for you? All of those different types of ideas, long-term rentals versus short-term rentals. Now, we're not picking something here right yet, but using this education phase is a great time to learn about the pros and the cons of each of those. Now, if you're not quite sure of the different strategies that you can get involved in within real estate investing, feel free to take a look at the Lady Landlords Beginners course, where we go through a ton of different strategies and we really help you figure out which strategy is the right one for you. You can head over to our website at lady-landlords.com landlords.com/courses to learn about the different options, but do make sure to check out the beginner's course, as it will help make sure that you're picking the right strategy for your goals. I tend to see a lot of people saying, great, I saw on HGTV, everybody is out there doing flips. I'm going to do flips too. And then they realize that they don't really want to be a project manager. They don't really like doing rehab or dealing with contractors on a daily basis. So you want to make sure that you're picking the right strategy for you. So one, you want to start with that education so you understand the ins and outs of the strategy that then you are going to move forward with. Now, step number 2 for you. Step number 2 is you need to make a plan. Great, you got a strategy, but now what? Now we have to figure out how we're actually going to implement said strategy, right? It's kind of like the idea, you go to college, you get that education, but now you actually have to see how that's going to fit into real life, right? What is the actual way that you can now function with all that information you learned? So that's where that plan comes in place. This is where now you don't necessarily have to write out a full business plan, because those things always get changed anyways, but you really want to have some organization and understand what you now need to do in order to gain that first rental property to become an investor. So for example, this might be something that you want to think about. How are we going to be financing this property? Is this something that you're going to be using partners for? Is this something you're going to be saving for yourself? And if so, what is your budget going to look like? And how long will it take you to save in order to put that financing into place? Is this something maybe you're going to reach out and put together a funnel of private lenders? Whichever way it's going to be, that's perfectly okay. It's the idea of just making sure to kind of get down on paper what exactly your plan is here. We want to make sure that we are also looking for the criteria of what we're actually going to be buying. For example, I mentioned before when I was talking about step 1 of educate, that you wanted to make the decision on your different strategies, right? Are we doing rentals? Are we doing flips, short-term rentals, long-term rentals? Well, now in your plan is really where you're deciding which one of those strategies it is. So let's say we're going to go with a long-term rental. Great. Well, what does long-term rental mean to you? What type of cash flow do you want to see? What area do you want to buy in? Is this something where you're going to be buying hopefully in your own block? Is that something that's even a market that you can and want to own it? Or is it something where then we're going to go a long distance? This is where you really want to break down now all those different things you learned about those strategies and put that plan into place. If you need help putting your plan into place, feel free to check out the Lady Landlords Roadmap program. The roadmap, the whole goal of it is literally a one-on-one workshop. I work with you for 3 hours about your specific situation, making sure 1, you pick the right strategy for you, but 2, then making sure that you know the steps that you need to take to really be able to move forward with your investment portfolio. You can learn more about the Lady Landlords Roadmap at lady-landlords.com/roadmap. But you can also hear a bunch of different women that have had fantastic results within their roadmap, because what you really need in that plan is to have clarity on what you need to do in step 1, step 2, and step 3. So make sure to get that out there and get that on paper. The more clear you can get, the more precise you could be about your market, your price point, your financing, the people that you're going to work with and have on your team. All of those different details is really going to help make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. Now, step 3 of how to get started in becoming a real estate investor would be to take action. This is where people get most stuck. They go and they get that education and they stay there forever. I'm sure you've probably heard the term analysis paralysis before, and that is exactly what happens to many of our people. We can get stuck because there are so many different strategies, and real estate investing really is a great opportunity for kind of anybody, no matter where you are, to still be able to get involved in investing in real estate. But taking action and really deciding that now we're going to be able to move forward is something where a lot of people get stuck. What's important to do here, now that you already picked your strategy after becoming educated, and now that you have that plan, we need to figure out how we're actually going to commit. This is where you want to be very careful in laying out what steps you're going to actually take for this. This is a great time to block off time on your calendar to dedicate to putting that plan into action, this is also something that's a great time to add on that plan, maybe just at the very end there, to really write down why this is important to you. Why is real estate investing something that you really want to even be a part of? The reason for that is because by getting very clear on why you want to do this and why this is important, and why, instead of just going to your 9 to 5 job and just going home and clocking out at 9 and just collecting your paycheck every other Friday, this is taking on extra work. This is going to include extra hours, decision making. This is going to take maybe driving for dollars on the weekend, cold calling after work, using your lunch break to go to open houses. Whatever it may be, this is a time commitment. So if you're going to be serious about it, you want to really make sure that you are running this like a business. And the way to do that is to really put time on your calendar. You don't have to have a ton of time. It's not something that has to take up an extra 20 or 20, 30 hours of your week here and have a second full-time job, but make sure that at a minimum, you can put some time on your calendar that you're going to say every single day, I'm going to commit to taking one action within real estate investing. By just making that small tweak to your calendar, you really will be able to propel yourself forward and be able to get much closer to becoming a real estate investor yourself. So thanks for listening in. I hope those 3 steps will help you jumpstart your journey in beginning your real estate investing portfolio. Make sure to subscribe either on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to make sure that you do not miss our next episode of the Lady Landlords podcast. We release new episodes every single Tuesday. See you next week for the next episode of the Lady Landlords podcast.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate journey, visit lady-landlords.com/roadmap to book a one-on-one workshop with me. I'll help you determine your next best strategy. Or you could subscribe to our newsletter for exclusive tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a lady landlord today.